You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, the casting call, featuring weekly commentary on the most sought-after casting directors and agents. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the casting call.
Oh, I think that's us. What?
Hey.
I was like kind of bumping a little bit for a second, so I lost my train of thought. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Black Hollywood Live. This is the casting call where we take you inside the casting process. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and to my left, we have, am I right?
Left, right.
We have the lovely
Chloe Onyx. Hey, guys.
And right in front of you.
and right in front of you we have
Lina Green.
and we have a special guest tonight, all the way from the largest background casting company in Los Angeles, from Central Casting. We have casting director Adam Hochfeld. I feel like when you say your last name, you have to say Hochfeld.
You have to accentuate.
Why
Yeah.
not? Take advantage of it.
See, there's some, like mine, it's just more. Like, I feel like that's kind of boring. You have Hochfeld, that's like strong.
Emphasis.
Yeah, emphasis on the huh.
on the.
It's like you have to stop. It's like fell.
I'll take it.
You have to-
I'll take it. I got no problems with that.
Well, thank you, Adam, for joining us
Yeah,
today.
of
I really
course,
appreciate it to
absolutely.
give us some insight to Central Casting. For those of you who don't know, Central Casting was established back in 1925. They are the oldest and largest background casting company in Los Angeles, and many people go to Central Casting to get their acting careers started. So, as many of us, I'm sure, have ventured over to Central in hopes of being the next Denzel.
Holly Berry.
They're like the hub, the mother.
That look like
Exactly. And Adam, tell us about you. You started at Central Casting when?
I started out as background. I moved out to LA in 2001, and as with everybody, I just heard on the streets. Go
Yeah.
to Central Casting, you get jobs there. You can get into the acting world and experience the on-set life.
Yeah.
I did background for probably 5 years. Non-union, union, tons of different shows and movies. And after about 5 years, after being on set, realized I wanted to try a different aspect of the industry. And that's when I started over at Central Casting.
Nice.
So now I've been there for about 8 years, started as an assistant and just working my way up.
Work your way up.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder, how is that transition from doing background to casting background? Because that's pretty interesting. How you
Yeah.
It makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
It's always easier starting something when you already know everything about it. And actually being on set and dealing with all those different departments you deal with, you actually know how to talk to them and you know what their job's like.
Yeah, because I'm
So it's it makes it pretty smooth.
How did you get into it from, like, you were just doing background and then you...
Just doing background, working, making the contacts, getting to know the casting directors that were booking me, and when I felt like trying out that other side, talking to those casting directors that were booking me regularly and saying, hey, you guys ever hiring over at Central Casting?
Wow.
Ah.
Nice. So how does one get started over at Central? Because like you said, many people move to LA, and Central Casting is the first place that many actors go to. And there's like no commercials, no anything. It's really almost like a secret society. Like as soon as you
just
get off the
know.
plane, it's like, go to
just
Central
know.
Casting.
Go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like go over there. It's over in
We're
Burbank.
not putting ads out anymore.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
it's word of mouth, but
Yeah. So
you know, I mean, the biggest thing is go on our website, centralcasting.com. The first step, all you have to do is come in and register.
Yeah.
You just have to come as you are,
Uh-huh.
and we get you in our database, have you fill out all the pertinent information about yourself, and the second they snap your picture, you can be on set 10 minutes later if you want.
Yeah.
that's good, because
Yeah.
there are some people who are in line like, I'm tired of eating ramen noodles, so I need to get a job today so I can at least go to McDonald's or Wendy's and get their 99-cent menu or something. At least that's how I think. Am I the only person that thinks about food?
Well, you eat good on set, so I
Yeah.
mean, I'm always thinking about what can I eat and save for later.
You're not one of those people that bring a
She's
Tupperware bowl, are you? You are.
Listen,
You
don't
are.
judge me.
Tupperware bowl
I've
queen.
seen those people and I'm like, oh.
No, I'm not like that. But like a lot of their stuff is like, sandwich ready, so it's like I can just bring it home. I'm just saying.
I've been
Bowl.
lucky enough to be
Tupperware
on
bowl.
set where they have like the real meals, the dinner,
Yeah,
Right.
and
no,
the cookies.
I've been on some some really good sets where they're like making fish and filet mignon. I'm so serious, and I do listen. The way
Tupperware.
he's a hater.
Such a mess.
Not Tupperware. Listen, they have to go like boxes.
Yeah.
That not for you to take home.
Right.
So
So
serious.
Right.
But like, if you don't eat it all there, forget you
not
guys.
what
You
they're
don't
saying
understand.
to do.
It's
I'm
okay.
secretly a fat girl in a skinny girl's
At the
body.
end of the day, we know that you're the Tupperware girl. It's fine.
Forget you. Starving artist, there's a reason why they put that word in front of artists. For, when I reach Halle status, then we'll just,
So, Adam, when actors come in and they take their photo, what are some tips that you can give them to make sure that their photo is good? Because I know if I were to come to Central, I mean, you want to dress presentably, but some people may just think, oh, I'm just going to go fill out paperwork and that's it, and they may not be ready to take a photo. So what tips can you give them to make sure that they're ready to take a photo? So that way when you're casting for all of those productions, they can pop out at you.
Yeah, I mean, that one photo is your lifeline.
Yeah.
It's really just think of all the different characters you're going to play and find what's really going to find that balance within your photo.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing we always recommend is come a little more professional looking. We could always see you in a professional look and dress you down with our eyes.
Yeah.
We know you have casual attire, but if you're coming in your workout clothes and
Just rolled out of bed.
you're probably not going to get booked in all the business roles or
Right.
professional
Yeah.
roles.
So it's important to dress your type.
Yeah, find all the different types you might fall within.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, we're booking everything.
Yeah.
And that's a question I have. Like, who can be a background actor? Is there a type, or is there something a person has to look like or be like in order to be background?
We want every look. We want every look out there. And honestly, if you can take direction, you can do it. We cast people from 15 days old up to
Really?
100.
I didn't
I
know
mean,
that.
age does not matter. It's everything. Everything a writer puts on paper, we have to do.
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, when you're watching TV shows and stuff, you're trying to create these worlds, and I mean, you got to have realistic people that are going to exist
Yeah.
in those worlds. I
Yeah.
would think, like, everyone can't look like a supermodel when
Yeah.
you're trying to,
Cast
depict
these
little
different-
small town Indiana. Everybody ain't cute in Indiana. I mean, no offense to anybody in Indiana,
Lord.
but.
You can't be LA ready.
But yeah, I mean, you can't watch a show that's based in Indiana and you like, why does everybody look good in Indiana? Maybe I need to move, and then you're gonna get disappointed when you drive to
Yeah.
Indiana and
Not to
everybody's
say
out there
that
cute.
they're
I've been
Again,
in
not to
that
say
airport.
everyone's not cute in Indiana. I don't want anybody messaging me saying I'm cute in Indiana,
Excuse me.
Right?
and then sending over their picture like just to prove it.
Message
Right.
people.
So what types are, in your years of experience, what types are more popular that you cast a lot? Because I know there's those types that always get called
Yeah.
in.
I mean, if you look at what's on TV, there's always the cop shows. So we're always booking cops and detectives. So it's great for guys and ladies. I mean, guys just being clean shaven, clean cut.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cop roles and detective roles out there. And even just, then you get a lot of the hospital shows where even just being able to pull off being a nurse, a doctor, as simple as a patient where it's anybody and everybody.
So would someone come in like with their doctor uniform on and like, all right, take my picture?
Generally, if you have the costume, that's great. But most of the shows are going to provide that. But if it's something specialized, especially formal attire, that's one we're always struggling for. And people don't necessarily realize that they have that in their closet, and that's an important thing. Because that comes up all the time.
Really?
Yeah, you get all these shows that they're always having these formal events.
Old prom dress. You just
Yeah.
pull it out.
Yeah,
I still got my
exactly.
prom dress.
See, now you can figure out what to do with that bridesmaid's dress
You
that you
keep
didn't
it.
like. You keep it and you do your background work in and call it your formal attire.
Yeah.
See?
Interesting. I didn't think that. I didn't know that. See, like, let me write down these tips.
She over here.
I'm thinking, like, let me ask these questions that people always ask me, and I'm over here learning something. I'm like,
You got to find all those things
okay.
that give you the edge.
Yeah.
So, how does one determine what type of role that they can play? Because I think all of us as actors, we think, oh, I can play whatever you want me to play. I can play the nerd. I mean, granted, I look like a basketball player, but I cannot play. I cannot play basketball at all. I can sit on the bench. I'm
Hey.
good at that. Dress me up in the uniform, I will sit, clap, cheer. I'm good. But like, how do you determine, if I'm coming in to do background work and what roles and types I should be calling in or submitting for?
I think you just have to kind of train your mind to think to the ultimate stereotype. I mean, generally speaking, to go back to the cop reference, generally speaking, everybody stereotypes the cops as the strong, fit,
Yeah.
and just ready to take somebody out. But you'll have shows stereotype and say, New York, their cops are going to be a little bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe even you'll have Chicago shows that they definitely go for the larger, maybe out of shape cops.
Yeah.
So it's knowing what's out there.
Yeah.
Because the writers and the shows really play to all the different stereotypes that are out there.
So, go ahead.
Well, I just want to test your typecasting real quick.
Yeah.
Can you type us? Typecast us real quick.
See, she's trying to get me.
I just want to know.
No,
I
see,
just wanna know.
that-
He thinks he's a basketball player. I'm the same football player for you.
Now that's don't even work.
Okay.
I would never think
Really?
I could be a
Yeah.
football
What do
player.
you think? Like,
I don't know.
See,
Josh.
that's exactly.
But I think you can actually pull off a lot of different looks.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just think jock when I see it.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like generalized jock, you know? I mean, I could, you tell me.
I know.
Mix
But
it
it's
in.
even as simple as how he's got a little bit of a beard going. If he's willing on a moment's notice to be clean shaven, he could put on a cop uniform and be ready.
I could
to
do
go.
that.
Yeah, I
could be
saw when you
clean-shaven.
said cop, I was like, oh, I could
But he
see
can
it.
grow it out a little more and be more stylized and just the simple subway patron or
Yeah.
all the different club patrons that we're always casting.
See, I think you could be like the secretary.
Oh, thank you. Because I know I'm
she's
going to get 18 to
dressed-
look
Yeah.
younger, so I'm really trying to look my age.
Really? I don't. I'm too tall to play 18 to look
Yes.
younger.
Really?
I would look like the.
High school kids
I
are
would look
normally
like.
the giants these days.
No, I would
Like,
look like the Van Wilder of a high school. They're like, you got left back a few times.
times.
Yeah.
I wondered that
Clearly
on
you're
some
not supposed
shows.
to
I'm
be
like,
here.
that is not a high schooler. Come on.
Listen, I know some old people that play 18 to look younger. And I'm like, seriously? Pound, I'm just saying. I didn't cast them. Don't ask me. I'm just saying. I'm like, you got casted as 18 to look younger, and homegirl is pushing 30. But I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a lot out here.
Yeah.
I mean, more power to them. You know,
Right.
they can do that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm surpassed that. I mean, I could play the teacher, maybe the student
I
teacher.
don't know. Yeah, student teacher.
See, it's that fine line.
Substitute. You know, the
The sub-
substitutes was that young, up and coming.
That cool one.
Yeah.
hip
Yeah. I loved all my substitute teachers.
I'll take that one.
Okay, so in regards to being on set, so what are some of the do's and don'ts once you're on the set?
The number one is be early. Not just be on time, but be early.
Ooh.
Because you're always given a start time, and every crew member has their start time.
Yeah.
That's the time the cameras are rolling and they're ready for you, not just showing up or pulling into the
Mm.
parking lot. So I know that's the biggest thing that will hurt you on set and get you yelled at the quickest on set by an AD is being late. And especially if you're doing the acting in LA, we know there's traffic. So it's not a surprise.
There's traffic in LA
It's
all the
and
time.
it's not
Yeah.
excuse either.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not
not
Unless
an
it's
excuse
at all. That is
like
excuse at all.
3:30 in the morning. Like that's the rarity where
Yeah.
there's not traffic.
Granted, there has been traffic at 3:30 in the morning.
Accidents.
I've
Accidents.
been in a good amount of traffic at 3:30 in the morning. Don't
Where
ask
were
me
you
where I
going
was.
at
Don't worry
3:30?
We
about
don't
that.
wanna
That's
know.
not.
We
That's
don't
not
wanna
any-
know.
I was doing my
You don't have
Take
to
that
answer
sip.
that.
You need that long sip just right now. Mm-hmm.
You don't need to answer that at all.
But the other stuff, I mean, treat it like a job. It's. I mean, a lot of people, they just do it leisurely and it's for fun, and it's probably the greatest job out there. You get to be on set,
Yeah.
working with the celebrities you've watched and you've seen in the magazines, but it's a job,
Yeah.
and you got to treat it like that. You're now this celebrity's coworker, and not just there as a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially background world, plan on your minimum day being 12 hours long.
Really?
You
Yeah.
may have short days here and there, but plan on it going 12 hours.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3 hot meals in a 12-hour day, so
I know.
take
and
advantage
a
of
good
that.
check. And a
You
good,
can get me to do anything as long as there's food there.
Yeah.
right? That's why I
I'm
love
good.
it. That's so bad, right?
The advocates for loving it for the food.
Seriously. But yeah.
Now, once you're on set, and I know as actors we're all trying to stand out, and maybe that one chance that the director sees you and goes, that's what we're all hoping for. What are some other tips that you can give for people to stand out in those moments, so that way either the people like you enough to maybe want to have you back and things like that?
No, and that's a good question. I mean, it's a fine line with standing out and standing out.
You want to stand
Yeah,
out for
you-
the right reasons.
Yeah.
Listen to the dialogue, and I mean, really come into each scene knowing who you are and why you're there. And you can take a chance with something. They may tell you after the first take, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Then abide to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they may see something. They don't want to see just stiff cardboard cutouts walking along. So you can take some liberties with what you're doing, just not going over the top with it and not distracting from what the actual action going on
Yeah.
is.
Just being natural.
And piggybacking on that, is it possible for a background actor to make that transition to a principal? Like,
It happens every day.
oh, wow.
I mean,
Really?
there's shows giving out lines left and right. It happens a lot on features more than TV, but even on TV it does. You'll get some directors I've worked with that they prefer to get the fresh faces and not go through the casting process. So on our end, we'll be in our meetings and we'll know going into that next episode that this spot or this spot, they're going to upgrade somebody on set to a line.
Yeah.
Really?
We're not going to tell you that when we cast you as background,
Right.
but we know it's coming just because there's the directors that want that reality of it.
So do directors like if a background actor is like forward with them, like, hey, are there any lines or any, like what would be the best way for an actor to approach something like that? Because I never knew that.
Yeah. I mean, they know going into the day if there's a line to be given. So, and they'll all be keen to it, the ADs. I would stay away from the directors themselves. You're going to start out your day meeting one of the assistant directors, and they're going to be your on-set contact the whole day. Take the temperature of the room. If the moment's right and they're in a slow moment, pick their brain. Get an idea of what's going on.
So the AD is
Yeah,
the
if there's
person.
anything additional you can
Yeah.
do. But yeah, your assistant director that you first make contact with in the morning, that's your go-to for the day. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, if you know that there might be a show that's going to throw out a line, do y'all cast differently, or y'all just go about doing it the way y'all usually cast? Just
We tend to just keep just a really keen eye to the look that they're going for. Because it's really just about the look when it comes to background, because generally they're not saying anything. So they really, even though a lot of times you're just the blur in the background, the producers and the directors, they're really keen on a specific look for each and every role.
So speaking of look, so like when let's say you're casting a like a cop show or something, and I came in and I took my photo, but I mean I'm obviously not dressed as a cop or something like that. How important is it for me to maybe come in with a photo of me in a cop uniform or something so that you can see that I can, or the different types of roles that I think I can play? Is it important to have those photos that represent that, or can you visualize?
That's where the main photo, where it's really going to be, we're going to use our creativity in our mind just to kind of figure out if you could fit that role.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of casting a cop, a lot of it is sizes. They're providing uniforms, so we got to fit all these different sizes. So we're given a height range, everything down to the coat, the waist, the shoe. And even with the women, a lot of times it's very fine measurements that we have to stick to.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is the look. If you took your main picture with a beard, I'll probably just pass you up as booking you as a cop,
Rude.
because I will assume you'd have a beard.
Yeah.
And I haven't run into a cop with a beard.
Right.
oh, really? Cops don't have beards?
Not really.
No.
Really?
No.
I didn't notice that.
They may
Why?
have a well manicured mustache, but generally they're
Yeah, the
clean
mustache.
shaven.
Yeah.
And
You
the
see a
show,
lot.
Mainly
the
clean
shows
shaven.
really want them clean shaven too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't even
Yeah.
notice. The things you notice. when
Yeah.
you're-
So see,
Yeah.
I think
It's a
that
fine eye.
that plays into when you want to know your type, knowing what shows and things that you want to gear yourself towards, is paying attention to those people in the background and what do
Yeah.
they look like, and if you were casting that show, do you look like that? And if
Yeah.
you don't, you might want to find another show to do.
Or even just Google
But
it.
I mean, how do you know
different
what
jobs.
show you're gonna be on? Because when I used to get casted, I didn't know like all I knew was 18 to look younger is what they were looking for. But it was like a plethora of shows, and I didn't know like, oh, okay, I fit the description of this show. It just
Yeah.
kind of comes. Like if you're a background actor, you're just like, yes, I got work. Like you don't care what show. You're not looking for a catered show. You're looking for how many shows can I do this week. I'm being real.
But as
from
the,
the
as
Tupperware
the background
queen.
actor, I mean, you don't necessarily need to know all the shows. I mean, that's as the
Yeah.
casting directors, we need to know our shows and what their fine look is. We may just tell you, no, you don't fit the look.
Yeah.
Nothing you did wrong. It's just we know the look and we're not expecting you to know the whole look of the show.
Yeah.
Because you can play a cop on one show, but not on another show. You can play a high schooler on one show and definitely not another one.
And I think that's what people don't realize is that I think when you think background work, you think, oh, you can book anyone, but you guys have specific things that you have to abide by for the shows that you're booking for. So I guess that's why, if you get a no,
And
don't be
we're
upset.
trying to get creative with it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're completing a picture. And so, anybody can play a subway patron, but we want to get all those different characters that you'd find on the subway,
Yeah,
not just the first 20 people that want to work the next day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to find the nurse, we're going to find the nanny, and we're going to find the homeless guy sleeping on there and the hipsters. And so we'll plug all the different societal roles in there.
Did you?
Go-
You go.
Well, did you ever have a moment where, because it seems like casting background is very easy, but did you ever have that moment where you're like, oh my God, I have no idea how I'm going to fill this spot or fill this request?
role.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty of times where we're sitting there, we get that phone call, and then we sit back and we're like, this may be the first time I have to say the word no.
Oh wow.
the
But
no to.
that we just can't do it.
Yeah.
But somehow we
Wow.
always,
Pull
there's
it
so
off.
many people out there that were able to pull it off. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
Give a kind of role that was like the toughest for you to fill.
Yeah.
I did a show a few years ago where it was mini roles on that. I mean, one of the things I had to come up with I think a week's notice, is a 13-person Mexican polo team with their own horses.
Yeah, seriously.
With their own horses?
It's ridiculous.
Because that's just walking into our lobby to register every day.
Right.
With your own
With their
So
own
that's
horses.
with their own horses, able to get them out to the valley.
Are they giving out extra
Extra,
money for
like,
that?
A little extra money, but it happens.
Who can afford a horse in this economy? Like,
Yeah.
let's be real. First off, seriously.
I don't
Is
think
that the question? The question is why would they come to you and say
I'm
with their own
baffled.
horses?
I'm like baffled by this.
But that's where, even if you're not registered with us, being part of groups and clubs, we may end up reaching out if it's something really unique.
So y'all do go outside of your database sometimes.
If
you-
it's something extraordinary like this.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, even on that same show at the same time, had to find these ladies to play human statues.
God bless you.
Living statues
gosh.
where they had to basically be contortionists, and they're in full body paint to look like different animals. And
And
they were
this-
going to be up on pedestals just in fully
So
contortionist mode, and it was
Wow.
crazy.
were they contortionists or
Yeah.
were? So you had to
But
search high and low.
it ended up all being people that were registered with
Yeah, there's a
us
lot of
that-
contortionists.
that listed that
Really?
in their attributes that they are contortionists.
You know who's not a contortionist?
You. Mhm, I knew it. What are the top 3 types that get casted the most? Like, what are they usually always looking for? You can't get enough.
There's just a lot of high school shows out there with,
Yeah.
with all the different channels on TV. You're going to see a lot of high school roles.
Okay.
And then the cop shows. Those are always around. They're never going anywhere. So you have every mold that falls within that. The cops, the detectives, the perps.
Okay.
In terms of another one, I mean, your basic restaurant. Every show,
Restaurant patron.
every
Patrons.
show's
Yeah.
got a restaurant or a bar.
Our bar.
What
yeah.
look is that?
And you know
though?
what's so
And,
funny?
and that's where it just comes down to what the demographic of that
Yes.
show is.
Okay.
I've been
What type
casted
of
for
restaurant?
all 3 of those. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Restaurant patron, a looky-loo for the
Looky-loos.
for the
All the people just
cops,
outside the crime scene tape.
and then the 18 to look younger for all the high. So that's so funny. And I thought, dang, I didn't get enough work, but
I have a question
Yeah.
from the booth, guys.
Yeah.
yeah. This is
Yeah.
so
The voice of God
interesting.
comes in.
I didn't know
Yeah,
where
the
that came
voice,
from.
the voice from the booth.
It was like, what?
It was God. He descended upon. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Steven.
Adam, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of the process in the database and how you actually choose the people for the roles, because I know that you're dealing with multi-million-dollar productions on a daily basis that they don't really have a very big room for error. And if you have these very specific roles that you need to book for, and you have someone who gets there, gets rowdy, maybe they show up drunk, 80 has to send them off set, then they're missing somebody who could have been in a place where they really needed them.
Yeah.
Do you keep track of who is actually a very valuable extra that you can book over and over again and give them a priority, as well as what kind of responsibility do you guys bear if something falls through and people just ruin a production on that day?
That's intense from
Yeah.
the booth.
Seriously.
I mean, there's
It was
definitely
like a caller in concerned customer call.
Right.
Like,
there's definitely no sort of priority, but I mean, we definitely encourage our productions to give us feedback,
Yeah.
positive, negative. Any feedback we get from productions goes on to people's file.
Yeah.
We definitely encourage that feedback because we're not always on set. We tend to be there a lot, but we're not always on set to see what's going on. So we'll encourage that feedback and just kind of help build people's personnel files
yeah.
so we can get a broader picture of how they are.
But again,
And-
you have to treat it like a job. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
show up to your job. At least I hope not.
And you know what I was gonna say as well? Ironic.
I see some
It is
guilty
a
faces
job.
over here.
Terrible. So terrible. But I think to answer some of that question too, I mean, everyone can who's done background, but you're like, I feel like most of the background actors are so scared because they just want to make the best impression ever because they want to get the next job or they
Yeah.
want to talk to whoever about, bringing them back.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like anyone comes on set drunk, like trying to make a fool of themselves because you're done. Like, and word just, it spreads.
I mean, now
I mean, I
haven't
like that.
I haven't come, but I've
heard of that?
I've been on
Tell
sets where people have come in and they are under the influence of things other than water or soda or fruit punch, and those are those moments where you look at them and you're like, really?
wow.
Like,
Really?
you
I
can't-
haven't
you can't do
noticed that, but I've noticed there's this attitude like if they're a regular background actors, like I'm a
better.
regular background actor. So
I know everyone on this set,
everything.
but yet you are still background.
But you know what? It all translates into just like work. Like even in an
Yeah.
office, when you're the new kid in the office,
Yeah.
there are those people who look at you like, I've been here for this amount of years. I know how things
Yeah.
work, and they make you kind of
funny.
feel like.
But is that
I know
sad
nothing.
or is that good? I don't know. Be real. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I saw someone with glasses on one time. They was like Hollywood, like, oh, I'm a. Like,
No,
We get
I
every
love
personality
the
out
people
there.
Yeah.
who come on set and they're just like saying hi to every 80, every like person on set
Every
by
a-
name.
yeah.
So it's like, well, let me let you know that I know everybody by name. I'm like, that's great.
I do have a question. I was on set like last week, and people kept directly going up to the actors and like taking pictures. That's a definite no, right?
That's one of the biggest no. I mean,
Yeah.
and we make everybody sign an agreement that they're not going to do that because it's a job. I mean, if you're
Yeah. Be professional.
they're your coworker. Yeah, they may be celebrities, but they're your coworkers.
yeah.
If you're working at the grocery store, you're not just going to be randomly taking pictures of the clerks and posting their photo on there. I mean,
least I
they're your
hope not.
coworker.
Selfie.
Like
And
me and
you would think
so-and-so.
it's something that people know, but they're at the moment. I don't think they have that in the forefront of their mind. So they just, act like more of a fan than someone who's working at the
with
time.
Yeah, the studios take it very seriously too because you're filming something that's not going to be on the air for a few months.
Yeah.
And so if it gets out there, that can leak a whole storyline.
Yeah.
And shouldn't they leave their phones like in the car?
Don't
Or at least just turn
encourage
it off
that.
somewhere.
Well, that
People need a lifeline.
I get
12
that,
hours,
but not when
and you
you're
want
on
me to
set
not have a
and
cell
holding.
phone?
In
Well,
holding.
in holding,
Yeah, in
I would
holding,
say
of
yes, have it.
course.
But don't. I mean, you wouldn't want to bring it to set and
No.
and
It depends.
And be on like it goes off.
No.
There was a phone that
Yeah.
went off.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
while they're filming. That's
That's
not
bad.
appropriate.
you don't want to be that person where like some like booty popping music like is your
But
ringtone
see,
and it
that
comes
you need
on.
to be on silent. But when you're on set for like an hour not doing anything, you're like, do. But the director is like, no one's going anywhere.
one's-
And you're like, so we're just gonna sit here and do nothing. Okay, that's that's
I
when
talk to people.
sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds old school now to
No,
like
no, that's
to
networking.
talk to people, but like I try
talk
to
to
chit chat
people.
with people.
You meet some interesting people.
Yeah.
And you get some
Very.
really
You
knowledge.
network.
Yeah,
You get to
yeah.
network.
You do.
But you do that in the holding for like hours. So I'm like, when I'm on set, I'm just kind of like, okay, if we're not doing any. And if you have to be quiet, come on. When you're on set, you can't really talk to people.
I have another question for Adam.
Yeah.
You said you've worked for Central Casting for 8 years, and
Yeah.
that's a long time, and it's also kind of right on this verge of the social media explosion with smartphones, everything of that sort. How have things like trends changed in the casting like world and universe with all the social media? Everyone's on their smartphones. People sign non-disclosure agreements without even knowing what they are really, and things getting out. Like, how has that really changed over the past 8 years to where we are now?
I mean, it's really something just the last couple of years where we're taking the time to educate the background the second they come into our office that your instinct may be to do that, but here's the problem with doing all that. So as people register in our office, we're giving them the education at the same time that this is why you shouldn't be doing that. And I mean, we're every day adapting to this internet age. I mean, we'll reach out through Facebook to do casting now, and
Oh, really?
Yeah.
it just there's so many more avenues.
Have you found that using social media helps you reach out to more people and more people submit for projects now, or?
I think we still reach the same pool of people. It's just a little more instantaneous than
Right.
the older methods.
Well, now because you can be in Target and you can put something on Facebook and you get a notification and you can call right then. Versus,
Or you can be stuck on set where you can't be talking on a phone and you see the job right there,
Yeah.
then and there.
Yeah. As a background actor, if you're not booking any work, what would you advise that actor to do? Change their look? Is it something they can do with that? Like, what is the best way for them to go about to getting more work?
That's probably the first step. If you're finding you're not getting a lot of work, come in and take a new picture.
Yeah.
I mean, we have no limit of how often you can come in and take a new picture. So maybe change your look. The whole thing about the entertainment industry in general is there are a lot of people doing it, and you all think you're the one of a kind, but no matter who you are, there's 100 other people just like you all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is persistence. You're going to go through dry spells. Whether you're doing background, whether you're doing principal work, you're going to hit those dry spells because there's just so many people trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, changing your look couldn't hurt.
Now we mentioned networking and things like that, and one of the things that I think are important is to maintain relationships. Out of like all the people that are in your database, do you guys have things that where you can interact with the casting directors there, or ways to kind of say, hey, I'm still around, I'm still looking for work, book me with whatever you have? Do you guys have things that allow that sort of interaction?
We have meet and greets 4 times a month. They're separated by union and non-union so that the casting directors that specifically book the union members and vice versa with the non-union. There's a few of them on a panel, and it becomes a Q&A panel, and they can stick around afterwards and meet all the casting directors. And so it's 3 at a time. And once again, it's another thing where it's just a free come into our office, and it's an opportunity to get your face out there, get your have your voice heard, and even if you have a question, that's what it's for. A lot of times are trying to break a lot of the myths that are out there and just get the education out there. And then in addition to that, we do background training and we do stand-in training.
Really?
Because that other step from background is to stand in on set.
Can you explain the stand-in to people who don't really know?
Yeah,
what it is?
stand-in is basically you are there so when they're getting all the lights ready and they're making sure that the shadows aren't there and that everything is in place before they start rolling, you're there as almost a double of the actor. So the actor can be in their trailer making sure they have time to memorize their lines. They can be going through hair and makeup. It buys them that time. And so basically we're looking for somebody that's a match of that actor. We want somebody with stand-in wise that can match the hair, the complexion, the height, and that basically is going to watch the actor do all the rehearsals and then be that actor for sometimes an hour as they prep the whole scene.
That's an important job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
So what if you?
It's a good job.
What if you feel like you are a match for a particular actor or actress? Is that something you mentioned during the registration process? Do you like drop off a photo to say, hey, in case this person is ever doing something, I fit their sizes, their look, and how do you go out for those
I always
type of
recommend it
things?
on a more specific basis. So if you know you're a good match for an actor or actress and you know that they have a TV show that's going to be coming up or they have a movie that's going to be coming up, you can send a letter, you can drop off a letter to our office. If you know the casting director that's going to be doing that project, you can just address it to them. Or if you don't, you can just address it to our office and casting director of this TV show. It'll get in their hands and you can just simply say, hey,
Wow.
I'd love the opportunity to stand in for this person. I feel that I'm a good match.
Okay.
It may work, it may not, but it's all those different avenues, where you can really put your face out there and make yourself stand out more than the next person.
And what are I know you said it before, but can you just reiterate the most important parts about being a stand-in? Is it specifically height and, if you hair, like what are those like top 3 most important
Yeah, I mean,
aspects?
generally speaking, it's going to be height first. Then we're looking for the hair color to match.
Okay.
And complexion. Those 3 things are really the big matches because they're using you to create the lighting and make sure there's no shadowing, making sure there's no glares. And so they're really using you as the canvas for that actor so that the second that actor steps on set, everything's ready to go and they can just jump right into the scene. And I mean, standing in wise too, the big thing is just being attentive.
Yeah.
And, you really have to be attentive. You have to be around. You're going to be at a beckons call
Yeah.
the whole day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were talking about, non-union and union, could an actor go about becoming union through background work, and how would that process?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the avenues. I mean, in terms of becoming eligible for SAG-AFTRA is getting a line on a show. It's a rarity, but it happens. And then the other qualification is working 3 background days on union vouchers.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22, though, because you have to be union to work union.
Yeah.
So but those are the 2 avenues in terms of becoming eligible to join the union.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I know there's a difference of your non-union, how y'all casted.
Yeah.
What are those differences in, like?
I mean, the biggest difference is any show that's run by the unions, it's a union jurisdiction, they have their set number of background and stand-ins that have to be union. So the first said many of people on set have to be the union members.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that then they can use non-union.
Yeah.
So if it's a small call, generally there's not going to be non-union.
It has to be something big.
But if it's a network TV show, there will always be union. There may not always be non-union.
And a lot of people wonder when you should become union. Like once you become eligible, do you automatically right away go ahead and join the union, or do you just kind of wait and hold off? Any suggestions on when an actor should make that transition from a non-union person to a union person? Because
My first
pretty
recommendation is always ask your peers.
Yeah.
I mean, they know they may have already tried it
Yeah.
and found success or failure. And really, I think it depends on what your aspirations are. Obviously, if you're wanting to become a speaking actor in the industry, at some point you're going to have to become union.
Yeah.
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 Very true.
So my question is, how much background acting is too much if you want to be a principal actor?
It's hard to tell because generally as a background actor, you're fairly anonymous. But there are those times where you'll see an actor just talking to one person. The one person doesn't say anything, and they're a background actor, but you're pretty prominent on camera. It's hard to say how much is too much.
Yeah.
There's people that have made a great career out of it.
Out of background.
Out of background work. I
But
mean, there's
yeah,
people
but
that have worked
that's-
20, 30, 40 years, and that's their living.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is that like if you're doing it for 5 years and then you're just like, well, I want to be a principal actor now, is a casting director going to look at you like, well, you're a professional background actor and that's all like, do you become typecasted as that and then no one really wants to not give you the opportunity, but they just can't
see you.
See you,
as
I mean, I think it's a personal preference. If you're worried about that happening, or if you have an agent or manager telling you that, just be selective of your roles. Only submit for the roles that are the big restaurant scenes or the big crowd scenes, and not for, obviously, if you play the murder victim in a show, you're going to be seen,
yeah.
and they're never going to let you on that show in any capacity again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I think it's just if that's a concern of yours, just be more selective.
Are there people who have started at Central doing background work? Have you seen them grow and become principal actors? Like, are there people who started at Central and now they're this big famous actor or actress?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's quite a few A-listers. I mean, it's kind of a game in our office sometimes to see who we stumble upon all of a sudden. I mean,
Can you tell us who?
I mean,
Give us some juice.
I mean, some of the big names. I mean, Brad Pitt's one of them.
Oh, really?
He started even way back. Ronald Reagan started
that's
out at Central Casting.
Wow.
I mean, even more recently, we have Kelly Clarkson. and Adam Lambert, who went on to music fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were doing background when all of that started.
See, starving artist, you got to pay the bills.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah, I know. One of the ones I came across recently with Nene Leakes.
Oh, Nene? Really?
From what, in
From
Atlanta?
In
Like,
Atlanta?
She was a background actress
in LA.
She came to our Burbank office and registered.
Well, that makes sense now because I mean,
Dropping juice.
not that I like follow Nene, but like I watched this E
Yeah.
special where she used to say I would fly back and forth
Yeah.
from Atlanta to
LA.
to become an
Before the
actress.
show?
Before,
Yeah, she was trying to be an
before
actress,
Atlanta.
yeah.
Before she got on Real Housewives of
So
Atlanta.
she knew where she wanted to be. I'm just saying.
Of course. Yeah.
I
But she
heard
just needed a platform.
Yeah.
And Real Housewives was her platform.
I heard a great story about a background actor who kept himself always in front of the camera, like always in
Like-
and it got him noticed so much that they ended up making him a principal on the show because it was just funny to them that he was always in
In the
front of the
camera.
camera.
Yeah.
The eye line of the camera, making himself noticed in a subtle way.
I've heard.
But
I've heard
yeah, I mean,
he's
he's actually known out there as the world's greatest extra.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
people
Oh,
that
you
have-
know that person?
There's people that he was just in our office updating his profile the other day, and I mean, people have put together compilations and
Jesse
just
Heyman
from-
is actually a
Yeah.
Jesse
he's-
Hyman.
Jesse Heyman
It's
has
Heyman.
been a guest on our after
who's
shows.
that voice from
Yeah.
above? No.
He's been a guest on various after shows at our sister network AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah.
You can
Good
check out
Maybe we
those.
should bring him in.
He's the only background actor that I think we know of that was asked as a guest on the Jay Leno show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just because of being a background actor.
And he was always
Wow.
like a featured or something, or he was just.
He's just got the ultimate character look and he embraces it. And
I gotta look him up now.
Yeah.
he's
know.
one of those people that plays been playing a high schooler for who knows how
10
long.
years
Oh,
or
that's-
something.
See, the one,
You see
the
what
30-year-old that was
crazy.
playing in high
Disney,
school.
I'm
That's
telling
her.
you,
That's
they'll
him.
hire them.
But he did a Super Bowl commercial
Really?
last year.
Oh,
yeah,
he's
where he
chill.
like he kissed this,
he's that's
this
what
hot
he's
girl.
more known for now. Is
Yeah.
That's
the
Super Bowl?
GoDaddy guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look this up because it's gonna eat away
I think
at me.
I remember that.
So
Okay.
it can happen. You can start off at background, and it definitely branches you out.
Yeah.
To do
Definitely does.
So
different things.
I do want to ask you though, guys, come on, I'm in the mood.
I know.
So, Steven, go ahead.
In your personal opinion, do you believe that actors should use central casting as more of a tool to gain experience on set and more for monetary needs, like a job, treated as a job, as opposed to a way to make it in the industry?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of twofold there. I mean, it's the best. I know when I did background work, it was the best education I could get. I mean, there's how many books have you seen out there in terms of how to get into acting and all the different classes out there, but there's no class like actually being immersed in it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so
When you're
true.
on set and watching all the different types of actors doing their craft, you can just sit there and watch and just soak it all in and learn it.
Yeah.
But it also acts as a nice tool that you're exposed to the other assets, the other facets of the industry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that, myself included, I came out here to do acting. I thought I was going to do all the acting, and then I get there and I realize, oh, there's all these other layers
avenues.
to what goes on, and
Yeah.
experience those.
Yeah.
So it should be more of like a guidepost or a tool.
Learning
To
tool.
learn.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a job that it's supplemental income. If you're a college student in LA, what better job if you're going to school 3 days a week? On your 2 off days, you just try to get work doing background work. I mean, there's no fixed schedule. Your schedule is what you make of it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And there are people who make a living
But
doing
yeah,
background work.
Professional, yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
plenty of people, because we need every age range, there's people that retire.
Yeah.
And so once they retire, that's what they go do.
Oh, yeah.
That is
But
pretty cool,
What
actually.
what I'm saying is, in your opinion, do you think that it's a viable option to only do extra work to make it as an actor, or it's better to use it as a tool and then do your auditions and things on the side and not try to count on it to be the thing that breaks you?
Oh no, definitely. It's just a stepping stool. It's not. You can't go into background acting thinking you're going to get your big break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tens of thousands of people all doing the background world, and the amount of people that actually get a break out of it is minuscule. So I think it's a better stepping stool than going into it saying, I want to work 5 days a week because I'm going to get my break.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that way if you're expecting it.
Yeah.
I've heard you have more luck, like breaking into the business as like PA, like, you know, that big role more than background, you know, and that's just hearsay. I mean, it could be true or not true, but you know, when you're on set, you definitely get to network a lot and just hear what everyone has to say, and you know, you'll be surprised.
It's a lot of networking. I mean, and that's a great thing. When you do a professional job on set as background, you start making these contacts, and you make contacts with these ADs and the cameramen, and then you start. They all have their side projects where they go do their independent films. They start calling you in to be an actor in those independent films. So it's as big as this entertainment world is, it's a very small community. And eventually everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah.
And your reputation is everything. So
Yeah,
you mess up doing
Yes.
background work.
Word travels fast.
Fast.
Fast. Yeah,
That's
it
why
does.
when you were saying, you know, people come in on more than water and juice, I was very surprised because I feel like a lot of people take it very seriously.
Very seriously, yeah.
I
But-
remember the very first background job I ever did. There was this girl on set, and she was literally like, okay, breathe, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is my big role. And I was just looking at her like, is she really for real? She was really seriously into it. And I was just like, it's background. The camera's not going to catch you. There's a sea of us. But you know.
But I think
You
they
never
all
know.
they all think that. So we're gonna wrap things up. Before we head out, if there's one key piece of advice for anyone starting out in this business, what advice would you give that person?
Have thick skin. You're going to be told no a lot, whether it's
Yeah.
from us, whether it's from agents. You're going to get told no a lot. It's nothing personal.
Yeah, it's just the acting business.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right. So before we head out, Chloe, will you let them know where they can find you?
Chloe Onyx, again, you can find me on Instagram at Chloe Onyx and on Twitter at Chloe Onyx11.
You can find me at Just Lina Green or on Instagram at Just Lina Green or Just Lina Green.
Nice.
And of course, you can find me on all social media platforms using Lounging with Tony on Twitter, Instagram, and my website, loungingwithtony.com. And if you want to find out more information about Central Casting, make sure you visit their website, centralcasting.com. Adam, thank you very much
Thank you
for
guys
joining
having
us
me.
today.
Good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Lina and Chloe. You guys have been great as well.
And Steven.
And Steven in the booth.
He was our caller
Our
in.
engineer.
In the booth.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the casting call. We will see you next time right here on Black Hollywood Live.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.